Well, I think investors are looking at Omicron, Leslie, and they're saying, how bad will it be and how much will it impact future bookings? Because when you look at what we're seeing so far and look at the weekend travel, I mean, I looked at the numbers. It was down 13% domestically, still strong. I mean, there's no indication that you're seeing widespread either cancellations or people saying, I'm not going to take that trip. Yes, international bookings are easing a little bit, but we heard about this last week from Ed Bastian, CEO of Delta. He said, look, you go further out, our international bookings are a little bit softer. They're not falling off of a cliff, and that's reflected in the analyst notes today. In fact, Bank of America, Raymond James, Deutsche Bank, all out with notes saying, yeah, the booking data is not terrible. It's not what you would expect when people first said there would be another variant of COVID-19. Having said that, as you take a look at where we are with the ARCA airline index, one of the concerns out there is what happens with corporate travel bookings, especially as you go into the first quarter. Remember, Q1, corporate travel traditionally is what keeps the airlines going. It's not leisure travel. So as you take a look at the airline stocks today, it's a volatile trade. They were down pre-market, but since then, we've seen some of the airline stocks turn positive. And that's reflected in the fact that when you look at holiday travel, still remains very strong. And Q1, at least now, is easing a bit, but it's not terrible. Again, guys, it is not as bad as people, I think, were fearing when they first heard about another variant that was spreading around Europe and then ultimately around the world.
Yeah, although, Phil, it is early. I mean, you know, people who are looking to take international trips who have to test to get into a country, that could be getting more difficult in the days and weeks ahead.
And, David, I've heard plenty of anecdotal stories of people who have trips planned to go to Europe, and they're reconsidering. Why? It's not getting there that's the problem. The question is, what happens if you're there 3 weeks from now and then all of a sudden there's a lockdown? And now you're like, okay, how am I going to get back to the U.S.? David, this is, you know, really, I think, what the concern is for a number of people when it comes to international travel.
Yeah, certainly understand that. Phil, thank you. Phil LeBeau.
You bet.